Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Meet the Experts. Today, I'm talking with Dawn from Learning Resources and Educational Insights. She's the Director of Sales for the company, and we're going to be talking a little bit today about education and social and emotional learning. Dawn, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Josh. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to you because I know education is one of the top priority for a lot of people right now, especially those of us with little kids. So I'm just going to hop right in and ask you really quick, what is social and emotional learning?
Social and emotional learning, as we categorize it, is just how you feel and how did a situation or someone else make you feel, and how you express that, and how you deal with it. It's very mindfulness. So that's probably a large brushstroke kind of an answer for what SEL is. Sorry, an acronym that a lot of educators may be familiar with, but maybe not so many parents.
Yep. Why is social and emotional learning so important?
Well, when we send our kids to school, or at least when we used to be able to send our kids to school, it wasn't just all about learning our math and science and language skills. It's also about how you interact with others, both your peers as well as the adults that are at school. And now that parents are becoming the educator as well as the parent, it's very important to be aware of how your child is managing their feelings and their emotions.
Okay. How do I know if my child is doing okay or if they need help with their social and emotional learning?
I think there's a couple things that you can keep an eye out for. If they start acting out more frequently than maybe they did prior to being sequestered, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I also think that if they're isolating themselves more often, like if they're going into their bedroom or going into another room of the house by themselves, feeling less active. I mean, especially as most of our country is starting to move into colder weather, they don't have the ability to go outside as frequently. Yeah. So we need to make sure that they're getting up and moving and exercising type of a thing. Also, they're just much more emotional. Maybe they're crying more frequently, or they're, throwing maybe a tantrum here and they wouldn't have done that prior to all of this craziness that we're going through right now. And then also that they're less interested in things that they used to be attracted to or interested in. So if they used to love to watch football on TV, let's say, and now they're not interested in it anymore, that might be a sign that something's going on, and the parents should really take the time to sit down and talk to them and get them to talk about their feelings and why they're not interested in the football game any longer.
Okay. Yeah, and one thing, especially now with many of the kids who are on these virtual calls with school, if they're, spending 2 or 3 hours a day on these calls, and then you notice it's harder and harder to pull them away from the screen, which is probably in some way, shape, or form directly affected by that other virtual time that they're spending. Do you think that would be a sign that you may want to, be out on the lookout for?
Definitely. I definitely think so. I think that's one reason why we do so well with the types of products that we make, is that they're all supplemental, hands-on type of products, so that when you go to take the screen away, you're giving them something else to work with, play with, and they're all educational type products. So while they may not, it's not necessarily a toy, they're still learning while they're working with it. So it's a great trade-off or a substitution, if you will.
Great. Just final question before we wrap up. What resources are available to me to learn more about social and emotional learning, whether that be local, online? Like what types of things do you think people should be looking for as far as resources?
Sure. I think first off, you talk to your inner circle, your friends, the parents of the students that your child goes to school with. I mean, because you're not isolated. There's probably more parents out there that are struggling through this than that aren't. And, again, what works well for you may not work well for them, and vice versa. Or you can say, oh my gosh, that's a fantastic idea. Why didn't I think of that? We also at Learning Resources and Educational Insights have a great blog that parents can go on and add comments, educators can add. We have articles on there. So it's just an additional resource that you can go and read about it. And I just think the open communication, don't feel that you failed as a parent because you're not succeeding as a teacher. You didn't necessarily sign on to be that teacher. You signed on to be the parent. And that's the important thing that I think parents need to understand.
Yep.
And it's not, and I don't know how parents do it. I honestly don't. So I kudos to everybody out there that's going through it.
Yeah. I think as a parent myself, it's definitely something I would strongly encourage people to reach out to their inner circle as well. We've had some experience with that, and it's been very helpful. So I will actually grab the blog link from you, and we'll post that in this video today. But I just wanted to say thank you, Dawn. I know I'm actually going to make sure that in the next couple of weeks we connect again to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the tools and resources that you guys have to help parents during this unique time, and even outside of this time, because it's not going to be, I think the more that we can educate people about, these different things with our children, the better off not only will be, but also other people will be too. So thank you again for your time today. I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
Take care.